Welcome back to this live session, traders. Hope that you had an enjoyable trading day. Last day of trading week, Friday. Looking to see the market is, in fact, now pretty choppy and could potentially come down for a deeper pullback here. And we are looking to see that there are some rejection that you have seen in the past. The market is still breaking back below. There is a daily price action that you can see so far. You still, quite a few hours for the daily candle to close. But what you can see here, that what I think here, the potentially the market could close in doji or potentially coming for a deeper pullback here in that market. So this is what we are looking at the moment in this market for a possible deeper pullback. As on Friday, the market is in fact potentially in a reversal mode. So we, in our previous session, we opened a couple of positions. So this session we are looking at the market for an entry from a key level. So you see the price on a pullback, and in that market structure, the market is on a pullback, expecting that the price to give us an entry opportunity from an important area of value. And I believe that you guys also ready. And it's important that one thing very important, when we are opening position, must be from proper risk management. As you know, that we target for bigger profit targets. So when you look for the bigger profit target, like we do in many of our session. So if you guys look at some of the trade that recently we have closed in our system, is the bigger profit is the key, right? So if you look at this trade was open at 4290.25 level, at that price closed at 4286, nearly to 70, nearly to 40 to 50 pip. Each trade we need to look for the bigger profit target with a tight stop loss. Now that's the secret of trading, that with a bigger profit target, smaller risk, that's how we can consistently grow. And as the market is approaching a very important key support level, we are looking at in this market for a potential trading opportunity from an important area of value. So that being said, we are looking at in this market an entry. So if you look at the monthly chart, that I'm going to do a full multiple time frame analysis before we look for any entry in this market. So looking at the monthly chart here in that market, this is the monthly price action that you can see. It's a significantly bull market. Starting from here, that you can see the price has made its move back to the upside with one single breakout. Now there is a very important price action that you can look at the current monthly price action, as if you look at the volatility with this monthly candle is very big. So that means the market is in fact in a stronger bullish momentum. If we look at the weekly, we are almost nearing to the end of the weekend. We see that pullback coming in the market, right? So that pullback is what you want to use for another entry in this market. So if you look at, this is the weekly candle. From here, the price has started to bounce off this weekly support, and expecting this market to continue to rise here back to the upside to create a new higher high. Now looking at daily chart, where you see the price from this daily support level, this is the daily move that you can see from this important area of value. There's a strong breakout on the daily 3 days. Now 6th day, the market in a trend, except today we can see the market has tested the both direction, both the high and the low on the daily time frame in this market. So looking at the 4-hour chart, this is where at the moment we can see the market is on a pullback. Now this candlestick pattern that we can see from the 4-hour, we see that with the candle close, the price couldn't break that high. That means the possibility for a drop here. Now it's a bull market. Are you going to sell or are you going to buy? That's the question, right? So let me start with the pull here. What do you think? Are we gonna buying or selling in this market? I'm going to start a poll here. So what's your thought on gold today here in that market? Do you think it's gonna be bullish? I placed a poll here to see that what you guys are thinking on that. And from that area that you can see the market, this is a long week here in that zone that you can see. And that long week, they're expecting the market to come down to fill that zone. This is an important doji here, which is more than 2 ATR. From the 4-hour perspective, the market couldn't break that high, means that potentially to break that low on the 4-hour chart. That means here later today we could see that potentially nearly to 450 pip drop, or we could see the rejection from this support level. That's what we will be looking at now on the lower time frame to see how the market structure is evolving. This is the recent support level. The way the market structure is evolving, the possibility for a drop down to this support is also higher. So this is where we are looking at in this market to see that if the price action is eventually coming down for another test. Welcome. Dollar yen, we will be keeping on the watch list. We had the previous session also a trade on dollar yen. So looking at here in that market, now from the 1-hour chart that we can see on gold, this is a series of lower high formation here in that market that we can see. And in that series of lower high, the market structure is evolving back below to create a new lower low, and expecting the market to drop down here to this support and then to return again back to the upside here in that market. So downside, the market in a level where there is both directional bias is possible in that market. And because the market is in that area and both directional bias is possible in that area, they're expecting the price to drop down here to this key support level. Dropping down to the lower time frame, even for the lower time frame on this market here, to see how the price action is evolving, we can see that there is a trend line that has broken on the if you look at the lower time frame here, the trend line, which is a resistance line, and in that resistance, expecting the market to potentially trend back below here in that area to create a new lower low. So the possibility that the price to break this triangular pattern that we are looking at in this market to higher, so expecting it to come back to this long-term imbalance here in that market. So this is the level that we are looking at here in that market to potentially come further downside, to cross that low, and then to create a new lower low here in that area. So this is what we're looking at in that market here for the price to potentially continue to drop down here to this support level. If we look at this is where there is a long wick candle, and in that long wick candle there is a rejection back below here in that market, and that rejection here, what we see the price to break that low here, potentially coming back to that support level in that market. And that being said, we are looking at in this market for the price to continue to potentially drop down further back below to this support level here in that market. So looking at the 1-minute chart, which is a lower time frame price action, respecting this trend line And for us, this session that we are looking at for the market to show up a potential breakout for this downside back below here. So the market is respecting this trend line, if you look at, and once the market managed to break here in this lower time frame is where we can look for selling for short term, because it's now on a bearish move and potentially the price to break that low here before it potentially bounce, because this is also the daily low, right? So it's an uptrending market. Breaking to the daily low or coming back to the daily low is an opportunity for us to go long here in that market. So currently we see the market slowly trying to create this downtrending market structure in that area. Welcome back to this live session here in that market, waiting for this price to potentially to show up for another rejection back below. We see that very important trend line. The market from this support level created this move back to the upside, drop back to that support, move back up, drop back to that support. So every time the market is coming back to this trend line, to this support level, creating an impulse back to the upside, and breaking that low here can give us that potential downtrending entry in this market. And this is where we're looking at for a reaction back above here in that market. So if you look at this price action where there is a high, and this is a key level, which is 4335 level, which is a key level. And in that key level that I'm expecting the market to test and then potentially to return again back here in that market. So looking at that price action for the price to potentially break below to that support level. And are you guys ready for an entry? Would like to see that break above. And there's a 30 minutes candle close in that area, which could give. So this is the 30 minutes price action, just as close with the middleman, which is a possibility to break below. So this is the current resistance line, and with a long wick doji that you can see on the lower time frame. And this is where the market structure is here. If you look at a drop, pullback, another drop, pullback, another drop, pullback, the market is maintaining this series of lower high and lower low, which is in a downtrending market structure. And in the downtrending market structure, expecting the market to possibly break that low further back below in that area. So you see there is a breakup structure that you can see maintaining that support break, and could come back here because this is an imbalance here in that area. If you look at the 4 hour, you can see there's a long wick, which is a pure imbalance in the market. And in that imbalance, expecting that this market to drop down here further to create a new lower low. Welcome back to this live session. We're still on trade dollar yen. Yes, we are still on the trade on dollar yen. And in the meantime, posted a poll. I see the 7 votes. So can you cast a vote on the poll to see that what's your thought on gold? So the trend is down here, right? This is where the smart money trading comes in play, when you see that there is a trend trading, right? So we need to look at the trend. That means where we will be entering into the trade based on trend, and then we need to look at the break of the trend so that we can find a suitable entry for that movement here in that market. So a trend and then break from the trend is where the possibility for bigger movement in the market. And looking at here, that this is a key resistance line the market is maintaining, and in that key resistance line the price is potentially breaking that low here, and the support is broken, expecting the market to trend back down here for another retest. And in triangular pattern, if you look at this, triangle is breaking down, and if we look at the 5 minutes, so you can see the market has just penetrated back below from the triangular pattern, right? So this is now a break, and at any point would like to see that this triangle is has broken above for a sell entry. So this could be, it may straight drop back below here, but we could see the market to test that high for another drop. And because once the market managed to break this trend line, you can see the price is maintaining this series of lower high, okay, so which is in a downtrend, maintaining this series of lower high, and with it series of lower high, the market created the trend line, and then the price is what we can see that pushing potentially back above here, right? So with that break of this trend line, once we see the market potentially cracking that that resistance line, that's where we can look for that selling, because if the price break both trend line and also goes up for another bounce back to the upside to this key level, the possibility for a bigger drop is higher. And this is what we are looking for, that entry in this market. Welcome. So as this is last day of trading week, if we look at the weekly market structure, we can see that there is significant weekly movement happened earlier this week. So leaving it on the 5-minute chart for this current session's resistance line. So this is a possible sell area. Welcome. Possible sell area if the market goes straight in that level. Is there news coming later today? So this week we saw that there was a huge volatility, but in terms of news there was shutdown and we haven't got any specific scheduled news. Next week is Another big week coming next week, including this week as well. So last day of trading week is where, because this is Friday and there is a weekly close. Weekly close is very important. That's where the market, you see, this is the drop that you can see on gold is a pullback. So how do you know that it's a pullback is also a very important criteria, right? So it is a pullback, and in that pullback, we look at, this is a pullback, and in that pullback is where the possibility for us to enter the market, because first of all, understanding pullback is important. If you look at the move that you can see, it's a smaller waves. Okay, a drop, pullback, another drop, pullback. So those smaller waves represents that it's a pullback, because when a market in a trend, you would see that the trend is very easily recognizable. But how the market drop with a very smaller trend and suddenly drop sometime and then going back, it's a narrower range with a smaller downtrend, which we can identify that way how the market creates that pullback. But when you see the trend, which is very stronger, more often you will find it. Now here is the market structure on gold. On the lower time frame is now moving back to the upside. Looking at 1 hour again, so it's a, from the multiple time frame, the candlestick pattern, this is the 1 hour price action, expecting it to go back up again before we look for that possible sell entry from this resistance line. And once the market managed to break out, we can look for sell. So the price has just crossed that previous session's low here. Okay, so that means there is a possibility now an upside or with this 4 hour candle. Looking at multiple time frame is the secret. If you look at the market has overextended from the previous session's low, that means there is a possibility now for a break above to the 4 hour resistance line potentially. The market potentially to revisit that level. Now it could still come back below again, but if it is bouncing off that upside, then the price to reach that previous session's high, which is nearly to 175 to 80 pip more possible back to the upside. Depending on how the market structure is forming here, then we can look for that entry. When sell gold, gold is long-term trend. It's a bull market. We can see some short-term drop here. That I would say short-term is because it's still weekly candlestick pattern has not closed yet. So it's still a short-term sell area here on gold. there is a rejection from the higher price that you can see, which is bringing that market back below again in that area. So with this double top, the price action has created a pattern here. So we will be placing a pending order above this high. If the market here reject back to the upside, we will be taking that move to this level. So we'll be using a buy stop here for initial. Once the market managed to break above here, it can continue to drop further back below to this support level. If it dropping, that we will be not looking at selling here because it's a long-term trend is bullish. So we'll be using here for this potential reversal back to the upside, pending order for this fair value gap. So we'll be also explaining that why we have placed that pending order and how the trade was taken. If the market bounce off that level, we will be out on that trade. So looking at here, we will be also if we look at the pip wise for this move, if it goes the full move, it will be around 140 pip. The stop loss we will be placing here nearly to 100 pips. So what we expecting here, the market, if it reverse here, this is a complete imbalance in the market and could continue to rise back up to the upside to this 4-hour resistance line. So we'll be using a buy stop. Placing a buy stop here. So placed a buy stop here in that area on gold and expecting it to, if the market goes break that swing high, expecting it to bounce off that 4-hour resistance line. So place that buy stop here on gold for a potential breakout, and the market is still can remain bearish. If it is remaining bearish here, we are not on the trade. Our goal here is to enter in the direction of the major trend. So the trend is very important to look at. If you look at past trades that you have opened, almost all of them, we trade with the trend. That's the secret, guys. Trading with the trend will always give you a bigger edge in the market. And even if you are using the simple strategy, always look for the trend. So how do you in fact identify direction of the trend? Let's discuss that one as well. So should we buy now long term? Okay, sir, welcome. Now we are placing a buy stop. That means if the market break this swing high here, then we will be entering into the trade, because if this swing high is broken, then we might see that double bottom, and then potential break of swing high could give a further upside momentum here. That means the trend may not be valid anymore. But if the market continue to drop here, we might see further break below. So in case the market breaks a lot back below, we will be closing the pending order, and we might be looking for a new area for entry again in this market. Buy stop here that looking at in this market, and so if this is a breakout, we could see that complete break of structure and continuation back above here in that market. Now it's still showing that downtrend, so we can see that continuation in that market. So we see that further possible drop here, and 4 hour level, the market is coming potentially to break this daily low. Now if this market cross that 4278, possibility that we might see a change of direction again, because in that case we could see that this market potentially forming another kind of structure with a semi-circular support, and then to bounce off that. So there is, if you look at here, that there is a drop here in that market, which is showing up that the price potentially to trend back down in that market. So this is where the price action showing up the market to drop down here, potentially to break that low and to test that support, and then to return again back here in that market. So we see that drop down back below, potentially to continue to trend further here downside. So break below. Now if the market, anytime we could see that reversal, our pending order is still on, but if it doesn't break that high, continue to drop, we will be changing our order for the new level to look at again for another entry. In trading now also we place the pending order, so it's still not triggered. Once it triggers, we are on the trade. That's how we will be looking at, waiting for a trigger here in that market. You got it. Thank you very much. Welcome. I'm in Melbourne. Okay, so here the price has broken that low and is still maintaining this downtrend. And because it's still maintaining the downtrend, the continuation back below is higher. So you could see the price to potentially continue to trend down to this support level here in that market. There is a structure being created here. So looking forward to see the market potentially to bounce off that level to retest that area. So here it's breaking that support. So there is a further continuation that you can see. And might be able to find shortly after a potential bullish opportunity as the market is coming back below this daily low. Now there is a big fair value gap on the daily. So as this market is breaking from this daily support, we might be able to find a different area for our pending order, as it has already dropped a lot back below. Market is coming to the support level and it's slowly melting down to that support level. And because the market is coming down to that support level, we are looking forward to see the market to break that. This is a purely imbalance here in that market. Okay, so you see that breakdown in that support, and that breakdown that you can see in the market, it's continuing downtrend. And because it's continuing the downtrend, 1 hour price action is also approaching that daily low here. And how far we can expect this market to drop? So wait to see if we can possibly enter on the daily breaking the daily low. We'll be closing that pending order as the market dropped a lot, so we are not keeping that pending order anymore. We'll be readjusting the entry. So this is where, looking at the market dropped a lot here in that area. So if you look at, this is a support level, market has broken back below 1 hour candle close here, and we are looking to see that 4 hour candle close coming in few minutes. This is a complete break below. So daily, this is the daily low here that we have seen primarily the market approach that. So what we will be looking here now, a possible break of this daily support, that means that daily low, and after break of this daily low, if you look at that daily low is broken here, now this is the recent low here on the daily. If you look at, and in that daily low, as the market is approaching the recent low, so look for an entry shortly for this break of this daily low to the upside here. And what I think, after break of this low, we could see that the market to have a reaction back above. So you'll be having little wider stop loss. Still the market is in a downtrend, so you're still not looking to buy, but we are preparing for a potential bullish entry on the daily drop. So going back to this time frame here on the daily, if you look at, this is the daily support, the market has come back, and in that daily support where the price is approaching, and expecting it to break the downside here in that market. And So from the multiple time frame here on gold, the price is on this long-term support level, and in the support, as the price is approaching that key level, looking at the market to test and then to return again back here in that market. So if you look at it, this is doji here, very narrow doji, and in the doji, expecting the market to break in that direction here to the support. You see there is a rejection here. Looking for an entry. So you see the market slowly having that reversal from that level on this instrument on gold. And as the market is now having that reversal from this daily support level, you can there is an inverted head and shoulder. We'll be waiting for a pullback here on the lower time frame, and now it's broken up the structure. So as we discussed, looking at this daily support from this order block, this is an order block. The market has created an inverted head and shoulder that you can see. This inverted head and shoulder, the price is potentially breaking above here to create a new higher high. So with that inverted head and shoulder, expecting the market to trend further down here and then to return again back upside here in that market. And this is what looking at for. So as the market managed to break from the trend line, we will be looking for a doji or another retest of this neckline. So if you look at, this is an inverted head and shoulder leaving a neckline. And more often you see that when the market trend is stronger, it might even will not test that neckline. If it come to test the neckline here, we are looking to enter bullish back to this high here. So there is a 5-minute candle close coming. The market is volatile, that you can see. looking to see that this market to trend to this support level where there is a neckline of this inverted head and shoulder, and the market has broken out of the inverted head and shoulder, expecting it to drop down further to this support and then to return again back above. So waiting for this retest of this neckline for a potential bounce back up in that market. Now, why it is important to see that the market has tested this neckline of this inverted head and shoulder is because we could see the market even not testing if the trend is very stronger, but that is where the healthy trend comes in play. We could say at any point the market come down here for that retest, because the trend rejection from here could lead that market to bounce off that daily high again. So this is the daily resistance and also the daily high. We'll be waiting to see how the market. Now you can see this is a 1 minute chart in that area. Now it could even break like that. So if the market now, because every moment there is a new market structure, and you can see that this is where a movement and then pull back, another move. So what looking at here, this market to potentially drop down to break, to create a pattern similar like that, and that is where looking at this market to test and reject again here. So that is where the market will show us that this is a bullish market structure, right? So breaking this swing low is where the next potential entry for us. Every moment the market changes its structure, you'll see that the skill trader are those who can understand those breakup structure, and that's what we're looking at in this market. Okay, so breakup structure and then going back in the direction. As soon as the market breaks this swing low here, we are looking to see entry from those areas for potential reversal back up, keeping stop loss well below this level. In the meantime, traders, if you enjoyed this live session, make sure you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing. I'm waiting for the push up from the support. This is what happened. Welcome, dollar yen short. Dollar yen might go up for pullback, but the daily price action that you can see on dollar yen from this gap level getting the reaction, but dollar yen market structure is still bearish. So you see there's an upside momentum on dollar yen, which is in fact a bounce from this level, and the possibility the market to come back below again is higher. So the candle closing on the lower time frame on gold here. This is the 5 minutes candle closing as a red bear candle. Looking forward to see that the market to test that low, potentially creating an inverted head and shoulder, and then to move up again in the direction of the trend. Okay, so breaking that low, which is looking to see this swing low to break, and we can use once the market penetrate back below pending order above this level for an entry. Okay, so it's breaking that low, which is as we discussed, and cool. All right, so it's breaking that low. Now we will be placing a pending order above this high here. So above this neckline, if the market return back up, we will be on the trade for this potential bounce back up. So it might goes up here. The entry at 4307. It's not a market order, it's a pending order. So we'll be placing a buy limit, buy stop, not buy limit, buy stop at 4307.47. Stop loss placing below here 4296.98 with very smaller risk, of course, and we'll take TP back at 4325.25. Now it may continue to drop, but once the market managed to break above, that's where we will be entering into the trade. So pending order on gold at 4307.47. Stop at 4296.98. Take profit target at 4325.25. So place that pending order. If the market will bounce back up, we will be on the trade. So as we looked at that level, I haven't entered by market here, waiting to see the price to break to the upside. If you look at here, you can see the market where you looked at that level, exactly to that zone, the market reached that area. Now I would like to see that it's being able to break that high for a potential trend change. We could see that continuation. If it is continue to drop here, though it just has tested the neckline, then we are on the trade. Welcome to this live session, traders. Hope that you're enjoying the live session. Make sure you like this stream and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so you are not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. Ready for potential break upside? Do you think that gold is going to break out? Or do you think the market just short term will continue to drop? What's your thought on that? We placed the pending order buy stop at 4307.47, stop loss at 4296.98, TP target setting at 4325.25. Now possibility that this market to return back to the upside here. Welcome. and exactly from the order block, that previous order block, the market is trying to push back to the upside here. So trade that was running. So our pending order is here and waiting for this break to the upside. So getting reaction back to the upside here in that market. So this is where you're looking at this price to potentially trend and then continue to rise. So the Trump has some update. How does that impact gold market? You guys see that there's some news with Trump. So meeting with China's Xi in 2 weeks. Some updates on the press. So with the high impact news, there might be now moving the market. We could see some move coming potentially, and here is you can see the price here with the press. There is a pressure on the support, and we might see now an increased volatility. What do you think with this news that there was a press came from Trump, and when he speaks the market moves, right? So let's see that where I would like to use, sir. Thank you, welcome. Now we see the market is, you see that from that zone breaking to the upside. Now our pending order might get triggered very shortly after, ready to hit that pending order. We might see an upside. So with the press, there is some move coming in the market. So if you look at the price section showing up, our pending order buy stop at 4307 is approaching. So if the market break that high here, we will be on the trade. If not breaking, then we will not be on the trade. But in the meantime, how does the speech from the Trump impact the market? You see there is a bounce coming and gold is getting higher. Is because of the tariff news that you have seen just now announces. Okay, getting some upside momentum in the market, and we are approaching very near to an entry to the upside. Potentially we get that trigger very soon. Are you guys ready? Say yes if you have placed the pending order here with me. Up. Yep, place that pending order again. So the pending order here, buy stop placed at 4307.47 with very tight risk, tight stop loss. No trade without a stop loss, no trade without risk management, and no trade without lot sizing, guys. This is the most important part. And if you place the pending order, then smash the like button. Either win or lose, that's completely fine because you do the risk management. And if you didn't place the pending order but you are watching, enjoying, make sure you like this stream. Did you like? Awesome. And also don't forget to subscribe. We are getting, let me see, mine is still not triggered, a little bit, 1 to 2 pip away still to get the trigger. Come on. Yep, I'm active. The trade is active. Trade active, right? So waiting for a breakout here. Boom, boom. 35 pip. I'll give a shout out as soon as I'll be closing. The trade is still running in. We could see that further bounce here to this daily high. We had a target for 180 pip in this live session. Can we achieve that? Going back in that direction here. Wanting to see that potentially pushing back up. I'm holding on to that. It might go back to the daily high. So that's where our TP target, 180 pip. We are up on 50 pip at the moment, and I'm holding on to that. The possibility for upside here is higher. I'm not missing out anything for any. Holding on to that yet, as don't want to take a less profit, though there is a potential risk, but still expecting to get the rejection back above to the daily high. There are 2 order block consecutively. So I will be holding on to that full potential TP here. So dollar yen, we will be closing that sell position. We are close to it, dollar yen sell, and we are holding on to the gold for upside, as gold may have a bounce. I'm still holding on to the, want to take this big move potentially. It could be big move, and I'm not adding up more position, guys. This is very, very important. There is a very possibility to get, you know, like caught up in bigger risk. Never. Keep always risk low, bigger gain, smaller risk, bigger profit target. That's the secret. That's the secret of profitable trading. You see that how all those trade was open recently. You know, many of them I have shared opened in the system. Some of the trade that I have shared earlier, there is a losing trade. Okay, guys, this is the part of trading. You see that the trade was open in our system, in our strategy. There is a losing trade, right? 2 win, 1 lose here in this display. So what do you see here? That is the question. That is the secret of becoming profitable as a trader. Smaller loss, bigger win. Small loss, big win. That is the secret of profitable trading, right? It's not that you're not gonna lose, you're gonna lose, but small loss, bigger win. Repeat it over and over again. This trade, $170 this one. If you look at this one, in the same way. So when you look at the loss, it's tiny, right? 20 pip. That's all. Trading is all about big win. Catching the big win, letting the loser as fast as you can, shortest way possible. And I repeat the system over and over again. I'm holding on to that. We are on the trade. I think we all have the same entry because it's a pending order, and would like to see the market to potentially create a new higher high. Very tight stop loss here, and so there's a 5 minutes doji that we can see has formed, and a little bit of choppy here in that area. Suddenly volatility dropped a little bit, but the possibility for a bounce here is higher. So I'm still holding on this trade for an upside momentum. Because if this market started to reverse, we could see going back up to cross any of this high here. Looking for that reaction back up here in that market, and crossing that high, potentially breaking that high to create a new higher high. We are up again. We are looking to see that 5 minutes candle closing potentially here as a narrower candle or doji, so that we can see possibility to reject again to the direction of the trend. Here is consolidation, more consolidation, expecting trend continuation. Are you guys with me with that trade? That to see possibility to return again back up to create a new higher high in that market. So this is where the price action pattern showing up to be potentially bullish, and we are on it. Though it's a very smaller consolidation, crossing that high, which is breaking that above that level, which is going up to create that new higher high, and potentially moving up to that high here. $72 pip up with this trade now. 72 pip up, we are running profit. I'm still holding on to that. Heading back to the upside here, and the market is maintaining that move, and we are on the trade, expecting to cross that high to create a new higher high to that key level, where currently we are above 100 pip on this one. Yep, 99 pip, 98 pip. I'm still holding on to the possibility for a complete bounce is higher, so looking forward to see that it's getting back up here. So I'm still not moving anything, not moving stop loss, not doing anything, expecting it to bounce to that, as there is an imbalance here in that area at the moment. pushing back up here to create a new higher high. Looking forward to see the market to go up and crossing that resistance line, potentially to take that up move here for an upside bias in that market. We're looking at this price to continue to rise here in that area. So this is where back to back quite a few dodges. I'm still holding on to that for further upside here. To break that high and breaking above here, and I'm holding on to that, expecting it to bounce back up to cross that 174 pip. Guys, we are now 100 pip up and would like to hold on to that, to this potentially 170 pip up move here, and I'm still expecting it to go back in that direction as it's getting a reversal here. The market structure is bullish. We're looking to see that the market to show up. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, so you see moving up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Crossing that high potentially to break that resistance line, which is showing up the market to test that high and then to create a new higher high. The market structure is showing up to be bullish here and creating that cross to test that high and then to return again back in the direction of the trend. This is where I'm at. A bounce, and this market can continue to rise. We are looking at almost nearly to the daily resistance line. So we are looking at this 5-minute candlestick pattern, which is also the 1-minute price action, showing up that possibility to break that high. And I didn't move any stop loss or anything like that yet. We are more than halfway to that, and market structure is bullish here, so which is showing up that this market continue to rise here, and quite a few long week candlestick pattern formation in this area here. There is a breakup structure again, and in that breakup structure, expecting that to create a new higher high, which is the previous swing high here, and on the 5 minutes candle. So I'm still expecting to be bull. So there is a buying pressure still here. So it's having a breakup structure. Anytime if I go out, I'll give now shout out here. So it's still moving to see that the price to okay, so we are up here now, catching that break above. So would like to see that now to continue to rise and to create a new higher high, and we see after this breakup structure showing possible bullish again. This is what I am expecting here, guys. This is where we're looking to see the market to create a new higher high and to continue to rise to the upside to create a new higher high, and cool. Would like to see that again, new higher high. Awesome. Breaking that high here to get rid of that high and then to create a new higher high. The possibility for a new higher high is higher, so I'm still holding on to that to see that move back potentially to 175 pip. If the market goes to the full spectrum, we'll be able to catch that 175 pip, but depending on how the market structure now will be creating, so we'll not be taking any downside anymore, neither will be expecting any break even. If the price try to break this current swing low, we'll be straight going out. But here is creating a new higher high. It's a good one. I have taken 2 position on that. Would like to see that it's breaking that high to create a new higher high. where the market structure is upside and breaking that up here in that area. Okay, we'll be out with this trade. We're going out. Taking profit now. The market has broken that support and from this high. So we'll be going out with the trade as we don't want to see the market again gone back below our entry. So up, we are out. As you guys can see, this is a drop here. So the market has basically tested that fair value gap. We gave feedback here. What's your status with the trade? Good afternoon, welcome. So our tradings, guys, this is all about patience. It's all about patience, and that's how the market will never always give you one single move. You need to be able to be patient enough to sometime, even after going a lot, the market may completely reverse back. What the most important part here is you to understand that at what level you should be holding and whatever you shouldn't be, right? So especially finding the zone, you see that this is an order block, right? So understanding that where you can find the bigger trades, when you see that there is an order block and holding on to that order block, that's where the key, right? And you see it's now this drop down that we can see break below is potentially liquidity driven. The market may still continue to rise back up because this is on a support level, and the long-term trend here is bullish, which is the key. And if you look at this market structure that you can see here, this is a currently in a very complex market structure, and the price slowly trying to build another bullish market structure on the local time frame. So the key here is to align the higher time frame and the lower time frame trend. This is the secret, guys. Keep in mind, you see when the market was coming down here, I didn't take any sell entry. Even I placed here the bullish buy limit, right? So buy limit is the bullish trade, because the major trend, if you look at the daily, you can see that it's a very strongly bullish market. In that kind of market where there's a high momentum, even if we see the pullback, it's not a good idea to sell this market unless we see a big shift in the market sentiment. So that is why the best entry always is when you see that lower time frame. That means whatever time frame you are looking at, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 4 hour, aligning with the higher time frames such as daily, monthly, and weekly. Especially as we are trading on, that 1 minute, 5 minute chart, we can align with 1 hour, 15 minutes, or 4 hour trend. And if you look at the 4 hour trend, that intraday here, you can see that it's a clean bullish market. And in that bullish market, that you can see, the market has created that momentum. So if you look at here, from this support level, this is where the market is approaching that key resistance line. And that's where the market structure showing up to be upside in that market, showing up to be bullish, going back up here to that resistance line to create a new higher high. So from this level that you can see here in this lower time frame, this break below could now come back here to give us another entry opportunity, and that is what we are looking at for those kind of market, to give us another entry opportunity for an upside bias. Here at the moment, this breakdown could even come back below this level here, or we could see any area to reject, because there are two. If you look at, this is the same kind of setup, double bottom breakout, and both of them tested this resistance, tested here as support, this resistance tested here as support. The market could go back up from here, but if this market extend below this level, we can look for boom, bounce back to the upside again in that market. That's why we are looking at, guys. This is the key here, to look at the market that is trending and then trading with the trend. So this is a very interesting structure is being created. If you look at here, consolidation, again consolidation, same kind of pattern. See how the market is every time creating a series of higher low. So this is where that the order block is being formed. So in the first move that we have seen from here, this neckline is tested here and created a new higher high. Again, the next neckline here is been tested and potentially to create a new higher high. If the market not creating a new higher high, instead coming back below in any direction here, could be a big buying opportunity here in that market. breaking that high here from this support level. We are looking for next entry to see that here, and here I've been able to catch 75 to 80 pip on this one. And it looked like to see that further entry, so you got that one plus 80 pip. I had two positions that opened, has been secured. How many of you have secured the profit on this? Welcome. Now at this area here that you can see the market has, if you look at this is a trend line the market is respecting, which is on this support. The price action is showing up, and this break below that, if you look at the 5-minute chart, it's break of structure, right? So the possibility now here for the market to go ahead and creating a new higher high, for the market again to give us another entry, ready to take another one very shortly after this break of structure. Exactly what we discussed that previous session, the market to break that low, it did a drop breaking, so it's multiple break of structure, and then it reacted back again. Yeah, now it might be creating a new channel to the upside here. That could be the new way to move back up here in that market. with a doji formation. The price is now breaking out. There is a possible reversal pattern here that has created, and the market continue to rise in that direction here. Okay, so the market here in that area, this is where you can see the price is slowly creating this semi-circular pattern, and that structure is most likely to break above, highly likely. The daily price action that you can see here is, this is the daily resistance line, and now the possibility for the market to come down and then return again back up is very, very higher. So in that area, that's what we're looking at this market to potentially bounce back to the upside here in that market. So 5 minutes perspective as well, the market is coming down. 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Now wick fill here, it may break below the wick fill and then to trend back down or continuation back up. The next entry could be above this high, above this swing high here. We'll see first how the market does here, because if the market breaks this high here, the price is crossing that high, that is where there will be new fair value gap that could test here around 70 pip to 80 pip to 100 pip, move back to the upside again possible here in that market. Because if it is breaking about, this is a complete bearish fair value gap. So let's look at the 1 hour chart. If you look at, you can see this is the 1 hour price action. Now above this green candle, if we look at this line, and then this is where the high, so in between these two, this is bearish fair value gap 290 pip. If the market goes up, continue to rise, potentially even crossing all of that in one go, going back up to the resistance line again on the daily. So our next entry criteria here is for this market to break this high, that means 4319, and possibly cross that high and then continue to rise back up to create a new higher high in that market. If the guys are enjoying the live session, make sure you like this stream, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. Also, you can join the Telegram. You can find link below this video for more updated education analysis and all the ideas being shared for educational purpose that will change the way you look at the market. So from this breakup support, the market is slowly moving up potentially to this high here and breaking out in the direction of the trend. So you can see the price slowly moving back again to the upside here for a momentum. And a series of higher low with a long wick candle and the market potentially to return back up here. That's what we're trying to say again. Series of higher low, and breaking this high could give us another entry shortly after. We'll try to get into another entry. In the meantime, I'm taking 1 minute break, and then we'll be back again for another setup as soon as it arises. In the meantime, guys, if you're enjoying the live session, what's your thought on Friday, last day of trading? Do you think that gold is going to come down for a deeper pullback, or it's gonna bounce back again to the daily high? Share your thought and feedback in this 1 minute time. We'll see you again very soon. Okay, so there has been significant drop so far, potentially to break that lower shadow of this intraday time frame. All right, so you can see the market. If we look at the daily price again, refreshing the chart to see that new market structure, where the price action from the daily as we are end of the week, and this is potentially a pullback in that market so far. If we look at the weekly perspective, we can see the market has made significantly here to the upside with this bullish momentum, and that move that you can see from the weekly, which is a big bullish impulse back to the upside on the daily chart that you can see from here. This is the daily move. We could see what I think now deeper pullback, and that deeper pullback could come back here in this support level here. There's a high liquidity, so 4-hour chart here that you can see the market to drop down here, and as this breakdown coming to this is the also the weekly and also the daily low here. The possibility that the market to come back to break that low is higher, and if the market coming back below this swing low here, so that in that case you will see the 1-2 important swing low to be broken, and that's gonna be significantly an area that we can look for, a significant area that we can look for bigger entry to the upside again here in that market. Now, as from the intraday time frame, the market has completely broken that support level. It's in a local downtrend, but the trend that you can see in this market, if you look at is not very healthy downtrend. I wouldn't say that. We see the sudden breakdown and then rejecting back again. So therefore selling again is not a very good option here for us. Instead, because there is increased volatility now, we are looking to see that the market to show up again another entry in that area. So that being said, here in that area, this is a key support level and the market has broken back below. Now we will be looking to see if this market now in that area creating another reversal confirmation to see the price to continue to rise back here again to create a new higher high in that market. So there is a couple of candlestick pattern that you can see in that area showing up that the price to potentially to trend and continue to rise back potentially to that resistance line. We could see the price to, if we see the long week rejection from those areas, that's where you can expect another entry to the upside here. So 1 hour candle closing in 15 minutes time, you can see this is a break of this previous support level. Now if this 1 hour candle closing as a pretty long week candle, is still possibility for a bigger bounce again back to this daily resistance line, as there is a fair value gap and the market has tested the fair value gap significantly in that area. pretty long wick candle here. Now because this is Friday, you'll see there could be significant dramatic movement later in NY session. More often we could see that, as if you look at here, you can see from this high with this double top, the market has broken back below. This is a breakup trend that we can see from the whole week. We saw that there was a significant bullish trend, which now coming for that pullback. So what we could see that with this breakup trend, this structure, the market may drop significantly, and at the end of the week, before the weekend closure, we might see that there might be rejection back again, and the daily candle could close as a potentially doji, and we might see that pullback further deeper, and depending on some of the fundamental factors that currently on news, could be even deeper drop here in that market. So you see, this is where the market again has broken that low in that area, and there might be a double bottom that we might see as the market is in a local downtrend. We look to see that how far the market may break here in that area. So as it is a globally uptrend, we are looking for only buying at the moment. We have secured a trade which has given us nearly to 70 to 80 pip. Could take it over 100, but we saw there was a later change, but that's a part of game. Now coming up, if you guys look at, this is last day of trading week, Friday, so this is a very good day to trade. In fact, Friday and Monday are very important day for trading as there's a lot of volume. Can USD JPY still go down to 147? So a little giving some thought on dollar yen, as we had early today one trade on dollar yen. The market has created a momentum here. So what we could see that dollar yen, if you guys look at, there is a gap here on dollar yen, right? So dollar yen is still, there is a potential for drop here. It could be this week or could be next week, as the market left significant gap here. So this gap has not been tested yet. So we may see that dollar yen potentially to continue to drop down here, but before it drop back to this gap level, we may see that dollar yen to break this trend line, very highly likely, because it needs that liquidity for drop. So breaking this trend line will be an important level that you could see on dollar yen. So looking at here on dollar yen, if you look at here, you can see this is a resistance here, resistance here and also resistance here, which is an important level of resistance. And we might see that dollar yen to possibly break that high and then to drop back down. So this is the dollar yen channel. Also, you can see in this market. And from that channel, dollar yen could continue to rise potentially and then to drop down. This could be the situation dollar yen. If the dollar yen managed to break the trend line here, we might see that this market to drop down here to break this support level, or even coming well below, breaking any of this swing low before it bounce back up. So the possibility, already we see that this is the 4-hour move. The previous session, it's already, this green candle is in fact could be a catalyst for breaking below again on dollar yen. But going up further is increasing further probability for dollar yen to possibly come back here to break this trend line. It could be this week or next week, that with the weekly close, if we see the dollar yen weekly close like that as a red bear candle, in that case it is creating an inside bar with a red body. So the next week's move could come, you could see the even gap open and then dropping down here to fill that zone here in that market, so which is a higher possibility. And monthly chart, we look at dollar yen from the monthly, already this is a monthly bearish fair value gap that has tested, and now we could see that the market to potentially squeeze back below before it trend again in the direction of the major move. So dollar yen at the moment in a zone where you will be looking to see when it is breaking down for further selling opportunity. While gold is now has dropped down here significantly. If we look at the daily from the 1 hour, and this is a breakout structure here on gold, and potentially to continue to trend down here in that market, where the price action to show up to break that low. You see, this is a pullback here now at the moment, and you could see the market continue to trend back down further. Downside here to continue to drop. We might see the price to break that low here, potentially to create a new lower low in that market. So this is the current the 5 minutes candle closing, which is a bearish engulfer that crossing this high, crossing this low, continuing back below here, and where the price to possibly to create a new lower low now is higher in this lower time frame. But as we discussed earlier, this is a long-term bull market, so we'll be waiting for new lower low to create for potential reversal back here again, though we see that there is a possibility for further downside here. And now as the weekend, as Friday, the market could remain little unpredictable. So this is where even it could drop a lot, as we discussed. If we look at the weekly overall trend, so let's review the bigger picture trend again. This is the weekly market so far, and with this weekly move that you can see here, the market has made 3,700, nearly to 700 pip this week. This is the biggest move in this almost all weeks here if we combine. So because the market has moved that much, it is not unusual to see the market drop a lot again for a pullback, but we cannot guess, as we discussed in the beginning also. If it drops, it drops until we see that it has established a very sharp downtrend. We are on it, and in that case, looking at the Fibonacci, so the Fibonacci pullback that we can see in this market from here to the upside, and which is the below this weekly low here, and that from that point of view, if you look at the lower time frame here, this is an order block. So if you look at here, it's an order block, and so with that order block, the market could drop to this support. In unusual case, you could see that straight drop back here to this order block, and then to return again back up. So that drop could be sudden if we see that there is any news coming later, or any kind of sudden news could bring that price well below here. As with the press earlier, there was a move, and All right, so this is where the bearish move is continuing. Lower time frame as we looked at, and if sudden breakdown happen, that might bring the price back below to the support, which is now daily fair value gap. Daily fair value gap is being tested, and in this whole move, the first time the market is potentially coming back below the previous daily low here. $4205 could reach here. It's very sharply falling at the moment. Okay, so the market is in trend now. This is where we can look for an entry once we see the price has shown enough confirmation. That being said, we are almost also nearing to the end of this session. As of this week as well, guys, we had a great session, and coming up another big trading week. I would say that big, very big, because not last week, but least week, fourth week, but there will be some. If you look at the next Friday's 24th, and then there's another week. So this is fifth week of this month. Very interesting. So we'll be looking at next week with Gem, quite a few news coming up as well. This week was pretty volatile on gold, you guys have seen in all the pairs. So next week to continue as well, followed by week after, that means in November. That's a biggest week due to the NFP and doubling up NFP. So we'll be trading all of them together. That being said, guys, this was a great week. We had a great learning session as well, and don't miss out any of the content that I'm posting by subscribing to the channel and also pressing that notification bell so that you're not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day, including the analysis. Stay happy and have an enjoyable weekend. Get refreshed for big week coming, and we'll see you again very soon trading live together. Thank you.